All right, welcome everybody. We will go ahead and get started with our presentation today. Again, I am Jess Vivio Larson. I'm the Manager of Client Services for FlexJobs.com. You can ask questions through the question box on your webinar GoToWebinar control panel. You may need to hit the orange arrow to expand it to see the questions area. We'll have about 40 to 45 minutes of presentation and then questions and answers at the end. And we will go ahead and get started. Today we have Nick Knock and Natasha Terry from our Client Services and Support area of FlexJobs. And we're going to be covering the advanced search options. So we'll give you information on how to target your search and the best practices for the search. And then setting up your resume profile, how to do it, and why it matters. So I'll go ahead and we'll get started with the advanced search option.
All right, thank you, Jess. And hi, everybody. Again, I'm Nick, and I work in Client Services. And thank you for joining us today. So Jess is going to take us over to the live site where we can talk about the advanced search options. Perfect. So when you log into your account, you can get to the advanced job search in a couple of different ways. First, from the My Dashboard homepage, or from most pages on the site, you'll see the icon along the upper toolbar. So you can go from there, or you can also go from the right-hand side of most screens. You'll see under Search for Jobs, the Advanced Job Search button right there. All right, so we'll get right into this. So the Advanced Job Search is a fantastic tool where you can run as broad or as narrow of a search as you need. So you can also save your searches so you can get back to them later, and we'll get to that in 1 second. But first, we're going to talk about the fields on the screen. So before we start, it's worth noting that more is not always better when it comes to the advanced job search. So not every field is required for a search, and in fact, you can really just only use one if that helps you. So if you've used this before and you found your results to be really limiting, you can try using less fields to increase your results. So now we'll talk about the first field on here, which is the keywords field. And with the keywords, this can make your search really specific if you know you want to work in a certain position or use a certain skill. So again, using this is completely optional. So we'll start with an example. Let's have Jeff enter analyst as a keyword. And then if you do the search, you'll see that it is searched for all jobs that have analyst in either the job title or the job description. So one thing to note here is that it returns the exact word results. For example, if we go back to the advanced job search and we go back to the keyword and type in the word writing and then perform a search, you'll see 5,229 results. And then if you go back and type in the word writer instead of writing, and do a search, you'll see there are a lot less results. So it's definitely worth it to play around with this field because it can be really limiting or specific depending on the search that you're using. So if we go to the keyword field, using quotation marks are a very powerful thing if you're using more than one word. For example, if we have just put in medical writer in quotes and then do a search, you'll see about 29 results, and that the results are specific to that word order with medical writer. And then if you go back and do that same search without the quotes, then there are far more results, and it is searched for both medical and writer within the title and the job description. So one fun tip if you're using this keyword for a specific job title, then you can actually use this keyword field and enter the word title and make sure that it's not capitalized because having it capitalized will actually return 0 results, followed by a colon. And then you can enter a job title, say writer or medical writer. And then the search results will search only the job titles and not include results that have those words in the job description. So again, this is really useful if you have a very specific idea of the kind of job title that you're looking for. All right, so we'll go back to the advanced job search. And the next field we have here is the exclude words. So Jess, if you could just jump forward a little bit and under categories, select HR and recruiting. And we'll get to this field in a second. So then go back up to the exclude words. So this is really useful, say, like if you want to find a job in HR and recruiting, but you don't want to conduct interviews. So if you use this and in quotations, write conduct interviews or put interviews, then it'll search for jobs within this category that exclude those words. So if you want to work in HR but aren't a fan of interviews, and this is a great way to kind of narrow down the search within a category that doesn't necessarily require a certain skill or task. All right. So we'll go back to the search. And the next field we have is the U.S. location. And from here you can enter a city and state or a zip code or even just a state for broader results. And this is really important to always put your location, even if you're looking for a 100% work from home job. Because some employers, they'll have certain restrictions for licensing or taxing, regardless of whether it's a telecommute position or not. So if Jess could just type in Charlotte, North Carolina, and then perform the search. So you can see here that without having selected a telecommuting level, which we'll get to in a second, you'll see jobs that are both within 30 miles of Charlotte, as well as jobs that can be done from anywhere in the U.S. or anywhere in the world. So in these results, you can see jobs that have the name of a city and a red pointer, and no other icons. And this is a job that has to be done from that city's area. Now, if you see a position that has the American flag, like the first position, then that's a job that can be done from anywhere in the U.S. So if you have a job that has an icon that looks like a world map, then that's a job that can be done from anywhere in the world. So you'll also see some jobs that have a city name but also have the U.S. flag or the world flag. So this means that the employer might prefer a local candidate, but that they're also open to the possibility of remote candidates. So you can always scroll back up to the top of the results, and you'll see a little I next to the job listing that will explain some of those icons for you. All right, so we'll go back to the advanced job search. And the next field that we'll talk about is the international field. So if you live in the U.S., you can leave this totally blank. You don't even have to worry about it. But if you live outside the U.S. or you plan on moving outside the U.S., you'll want to select your country, or you can select anywhere, which is the first option to see jobs that can be done from anywhere in the world. So the next field we have here, yeah, those are some good examples. So the next field we have here is the job type. And here you can select multiple options, the first being employee, second being freelance, which is usually a contractor or a 1099 position. There are also temporary internship and volunteers. And if you select a type here and you decide you want to remove it, then you can just click the X and it'll take it off the list. And the same goes for any of the fields that have multiple options on this page. All right, so next to the job type is the work schedule. And this also has quite a few options, so we'll go over what a few of those mean. So full-time typically means 40 hours a week, with part-time being anything less than that. Flexible means that you typically have the ability to set your own hours. And alternative schedule would include jobs that have nights and weekend hours, and might also include graveyard shifts. And occasional, it pretty much is exactly as it sounds, so it most likely won't be steady work. And then seasonal is a popular category, usually in the summertime or around the holidays, if you're looking for short-term work. And then long-term and short-term are pretty self-explanatory. So again, you can select as many options as you want to, or as few, and then go from there. So now onto the categories. Here you can select as many categories as you want to include in your search. So if you want to check if a category is listed, you can actually start by typing it in the box. So you can try like advertising and VR. And as you start to type it, you'll see it pop down from the list, and then you just select it from the drop-down list. So that's one way to do it, to see if a category you have in mind is there. But another way to enter categories here is just to click the box, and then you can browse down this menu to find any categories of interest. So here you'll see main categories as well as subcategories, which will be indented beneath the main category. So if you see a subcategory that you're interested in under a main category, just be sure to select both. For example, under computer and IT, you'll see computer security as well. And you'll want to make sure that you select both of those options, because computer and IT might not specifically include computer security, and computer security might not specifically include computer and IT options. So it's good to select both, and considering you can select as many options as you want to here, you might as well. Jess, if you could just erase all of these in the category page. One thing you can also do, if you kind of want to start a broad search, is just to put your location. So let's do Charlotte, North Carolina again. And then do a search. And on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see the sidebar that includes job category, schedule. And so if you want to start with a broad search and you're not necessarily sure specifically what you're looking for, then you can use that right toolbar to select categories, select job types, select pretty much anything that's one of the criteria, including job title. And so all you have to do to narrow down these results is click the box next to it. And so that'll make it more specific. And then you'll see the results change. And then if you decide you want to look, go back to the broad results, you just unselect that box and it'll bring you back to the main results. Perfect. All right, so we'll go back to the advanced job search. And then we'll go over to the telecommuting level. So with this field, a lot of people come to FlexJobs looking for strictly work-from-home jobs. And if that's what you're looking for, then be sure to select 100% telecommuting. And again, even if this is your preference, make sure you enter your location as well. So the option above 100%, the any, will include all of the options below. And then again, this is one of those fields where you can include as few or as many options as you like. So we'll go over to career level. And here you can select anything from entry level all the way up to senior level manager. So entry level positions require very little or sometimes no experience. Experience means you've got a couple years experience in the industry. Manager positions usually require some sort of supervisory experience, with senior level usually requiring several years in a management role. So if you use this and you're searching by one career level and you find that you're not getting a lot of results in that career level, it's definitely worth it to try expanding it and including other career levels just to see if that changes the results. And we'll move on over to the travel option. So this one's pretty straightforward. You see just a couple options. So if you definitely know that you don't want to travel, then select no. But if you want to see all travel options, then you can just leave this blank, or select yes or maybe. But again, you can just leave it blank if travel isn't pertinent to your job search. All right, and the last field we have on here is the featured and award-winning employers. So this is great, for example, if you know you only want to work for a Fortune 500 company, then you can scroll down and select that from the list and then do a search. And the result will include only Fortune 500 companies. So you can currently see there's over 2,000 of those. And as Jess hovers over the icon, you can see what all of these little icons mean under the name of the company. So these are all accolades that the company is known for. All right. Thank you, Jess. So if we go back to the search, we'll just go over a few tips for the advanced job search tool. So if you're ever on this page and you need a little more clarification on each field, then you can always click on that little tip icon, and it'll give you a brief reminder of what it means and how to use it. So again, if you're finding that your results are too narrow, or you're not getting many results, then we typically recommend starting out with only 3 fields, and that would be your U.S. location if you're in the U.S., or your country under the international tab, selecting the job categories that you're interested in, and then selecting your desired level of telecommute. So this is a really good place to start, and then you can further narrow it down on the results page if you have a preference for job type or schedule. All right, so now that we're on this page, let's talk about saving a search. So at the top of these results, you can see the orange button that says Save this search. So if you click on that, you'll see a dialog box open where you can actually name your search. So make sure you put in something that makes this search stand out from the other ones if you save a lot of searches. Perfect. And then once you hit Save, you'll see it turn green and the job search has been saved. So in order to find your saved searches, you actually have a couple of options. So first, you can scroll up to the top of most pages, and you'll see job search activity in the same toolbar as the advanced job search. So you click on that, and then you can go to save searches from there. And then the second way to get to it is if you get in and you're on my dashboard, then you can scroll down to job search activity, select save searches, and then again, if you have multiple, then you can go to the bottom of your save searches and go to all save searches. And then on this page, you can actually edit the titles of your searches by clicking the blue icon on the left side. You can also rearrange the order of the searches by dragging those arrows up and down. And then if you found that you don't necessarily need a certain search anymore, then you can click the X to delete it completely. All right, and that should cover the advanced job search tool and saving searches. Was there anything I missed, Jeff?
No, I would just point out that every time you come into your saved searches and run the search, it does take into account what has been put into the database recently. So that can be a really helpful thing to know as well. So that was great. Yeah, absolutely, not a problem. Thank you so much, Nick. And so we'll pass this over to Natasha, who's going to go through setting up your FlexJobs resume profile.
Thanks, Nick. That was some great information there. I'm Natasha in Client Services, and I'll be going over a bit about the resume profile. That's another really important part of our website. I'm going to go over some slides before we take a look at the live site. There are multiple purposes of the resume profile. The first thing is that it helps automate your job search. Once your profile is complete, the system will email you jobs that match the information that you've entered. So these are called new jobs of interest, and we'll go over a bit about that later. You can also apply for jobs with featured employers using your profile. And then finally, if you don't already have a resume, you're able to use our system to create a resume. You'll be able to download the PDF copy of it, and that can be used later if you're applying for jobs. So on the next slide, we have 2 different types of employers on FlexJobs. When you're taking a look at our site, you might notice that some of the jobs on our site are in orange and others are in blue. The reason for this is that we have 2 different types of employers. The first type is featured employers. These are companies that have been screened and approved, and they are able to post jobs directly to our site. These employers will have the FlexJobs logo near the job title. Their titles are going to be in orange. They also have access to your profile depending on the privacy settings that you've selected, and you can use your resume profile to directly apply for jobs with these featured companies. The other type of employer we have are external employers. The title for their positions will be in blue. These companies and jobs have been found by our team of researchers and screened and verified as well before they're posted on our website. These employers can't post to our website, and they are not able to browse member profiles. In order to apply for positions with external employers, you'll be directed to their website to fill out their job application rather than use your resume profile. All right, let's go over to the live site. When you first log in, you'll be on My Dashboard. On this page, you'll notice navigation buttons at the top, which you can use to get to different sections of our website. You can select your name in the top right corner, which will also bring down a drop-down menu. If you're trying to get back to your profile, you can use that menu if need be. And that's also where your account settings are located if you do need to make any changes there. On this page, you can also find your message inbox. If any employer contacts you, it'll be there in your message inbox, right? Yeah, right on the middle of the screen there. And then below that, there are the new jobs of interest. We can come back to that in a bit, but that's where those will be if you do have new ones. Below that is the job search activity. Nick did mention that about saved jobs, but you can also see applications and saved searches there. And then the last section here is your resume profile. If you have already created a profile, you can find it here and then view it, edit it, delete it, or download a copy, all from this page. If you have one that you've already started, you'll most likely want to continue working on it by selecting the edit button. But we're going to start by creating a new resume profile today, and that can be done by navigating to the bottom of the page right there and selecting create a new profile, sorry. So this is what you'll see when you start a new profile. That blue box lets you know what still needs to be filled out. So that's really important to just keep an eye on as you're going through and filling things out. And by the very end of this, that blue box should be gone. So just like on advanced searches, we do have that tips button right there, exactly. So if you ever get stuck, you can always take a look at that for some helpful information. While you are filling this out, just double check your spelling and grammar. It's really important that those things are correct and accurate since employers are potentially able to see this. Another thing to note is that there are multiple tabs here to navigate. We're going to start with the About Me tab, but there's also My Job Search, Upload Resume, Build Resume, and then My PDF. Okay, so the first thing that you'll enter is your profile title. This is a descriptive sentence about yourself, so be unique, be clear, be catchy, just something to make you stand out, but still be professional. So there we go. Perfect. Thanks, Jess. Below that, you will enter contact information. This is whatever you're comfortable with sharing, but it is important that you include enough information that a potential employer is able to contact you. You can include a website link here, so if you do have a LinkedIn profile or a professional blog, you can include that link there. It is important to add your city and state and zip code, because when the system is matching new jobs of interest for you, it pulls information from your profile. And once you've entered that, don't forget to save. That green button is very important. The next section is a picture. It is not required, but including a picture is a great way to personalize your resume profile and just help you stand out a little bit. If you do decide to upload a picture, make sure it is a professional picture. And then you can just hit the browse button there to select one, choose a file on your computer, and then once you have done that, just don't forget to hit the green save button. There we go. And then the next section is profile privacy status. This is pretty important. Which profile status you choose is up to you. We typically recommend that you choose active and private. With active and private, your profile is viewable only by approved FlexJobs featured companies. One thing to note is that if you don't want your current employer to know that you're looking for a job, you might want to select inactive and private. However, if you choose to set it to inactive, you will need to set it to active in order to apply for jobs. So we can do that temporarily, and then when you're done applying for the job, you would want to make it inactive again, if you are worried about your current employer seeing that. And then don't forget to hit save. So the next section is for information about your home office. Telecommuting is a big part of our site, so this is something you'll want to fill out in order to let employers know what type of computer system you have, what type of internet connection you have, if you have any other office equipment like a shredder, a printer, a fax machine, an iPad, whatever it might be. And then hit save. The next section is military status. If you have any sort of military affiliation, you can select that here. And if you don't have any, just select no military affiliation. So you finished the first tab. That's about me. So then the next tab is my job search. The first section here is a summary of qualifications. So here you'll want to enter a paragraph or so about what your qualifications are, what employers might like to know about you, and why you'd be a great candidate. And then again, there is that tips box there, or tips button, sorry. So if you need some help, you can take a look at some suggestions there. And then hit save. And then up next is job categories. This field is important for our new jobs of interest. Our system will match jobs based on the categories you select here. So make sure that you choose categories that you are interested in. If you find you're not getting matches you're satisfied with, you can always come in and make changes here. So these are important choices, but you can edit it later. You can choose up to 5 categories per profile. So if you have more than 5 categories that you're interested in, you could always set up a second resume profile for yourself. Some people might have, a sales background and a medical background. So they might want to set up more than one resume profile so they can select 5 categories per field per profile. So great choices for now, and then you can set up another one later if need be. So be sure to hit save, and then we'll go on to job details. Here you will choose the types of jobs that you are willing to consider. You can select more than one of these, so employee, freelance, temporary, volunteer, any combination that you're interested in. And then the same thing for schedules. You can select more than one depending on what you're willing to consider. And then for career level, if you select any one of these career levels, you will only be matched with jobs that are on that same level. So if you pick manager, you will only see manager level jobs. So if you do find that you aren't getting good matches, you can always come back and edit this later. And then you can pick, your education level. And then if you want your desired salary, you don't have to put something here. It's not a required field. You should make sure that it is in line with your industry. So, nothing too outrageous. And then other compensations or benefits you're looking for, depending on if you have something else in mind. And then you can hit save. I would love an ice cream machine at work. That sounds perfect. So then next is job flexibility preferences. You can choose the type of flexibility that you're interested in. Again, you can select one or more. One thing to note though is that if you do only want to see telecommuting positions, only click telecommuting there. Don't select flexible, part-time, or freelancing because those jobs may or may not be telecommuting. And then if you are or are not interested in traveling, you can select that right there, and then you can hit save. So the last box on this page is availability and schedule. You can select your desired start date, and then when are you available. You can choose one or more, and how many hours per week, and then hit save. And then we can go to the next tab, which is upload resume. If you have an existing resume, you can upload it here. The most commonly accepted file types are .doc and .pdf. You want to make sure that it's something that an employer is able to open themselves. So those two are great for that. We do accept other file types as well, though. So just added that. You just browse your computer, select a file, and upload it, and then be sure to hit save. Once you do save it, you can see the name of the file right there, so you can be sure that it did actually upload. And then if you hit edit resume again, you can delete it and upload another one if need be. So if you, at any time you decide to upload or update your resume, excuse me, you can choose a new one there. You can also upload work samples directly to our site. That tab right there is where you can do that. If you're a writer, for example, you might have a sample that you want to upload. At this time, you cannot upload audio files, so do keep that in mind. And then be sure to hit save. And then I think the next tab is our Build Resume tab. If you don't already have an existing resume, this is where you can create one. You'll want to go ahead and fill out all the fields on this page completely and accurately. So the first section is work experience. Go ahead and fill that out. You'll want to enter relevant work experience. So you don't need, 20 years of jobs here, just the main ones that, actually are applicable and relevant for the jobs that you're looking for currently. You do need to enter a date in order to save this. So it won't let you save it if you don't have a date there. So go ahead and create one, and then Jess, if you wouldn't mind, would you create a second fictional previous job? You can just put anything in there. There we go. So once we do have two or more, you actually can reorder these if you do change your mind or need to change them to make it chronological. So then the next section is education. Just like the previous field, dates are required here. If your school doesn't have a website, just leave it blank. Don't put anything in there like not applicable because it won't let you save it unless there's a proper link or it's blank. Thank you. And then skills. Any skills that are marketable can be entered here. For example, if you're skilled at Excel, you can enter that there, and then you'll indicate how proficient you are. And you can enter more than one here as well. And then just be sure to hit save. And then if you are multilingual, you can enter additional languages that you would be comfortable using in a professional capacity. Again, select your proficiency. And then certifications and membership. If you do have any certifications or if you're a member of an association or a group, you can include those there. Just be sure to hit save. And then honors or awards. If you've earned any relevant honors or awards, you can include those. and hit save. And then that's it with that tab. Once you're finished with this section, you can go to the next tab, which is My PDF. Here you can download a PDF copy with all of the information that you just entered in that section. So click on Download My PDF. You can just open it and view it. And this is what employers will see. This is a resume that has been put together for you based on the information that you just entered. You can save that to your computer and then use it when you're applying to jobs, especially ones that are externally hosted. And now you should notice that that blue box is actually gone. That means that we've successfully completed all of the information needed. And if you go back to my dashboard, you should be able to see that your profile is now active. If there were still information missing and that blue box was still there, it would reflect inactive. But since we successfully completed it, it now says active. So from here, you can edit it again if need be, or view it and see what employers can see, that view button. Looks pretty good. Any uploads that you've attached are going to be right there at the bottom. So if you don't mind, let's go back to my dashboard. And now you should have new jobs of interest. You can browse through the ones that have been sent to you. And if you hit all new jobs of interest, you can actually remove jobs that you are not interested in by hitting that red X. And then if you are interested in a job and you want to come back to it later, you can hit that Save Job button. If you go back to your dashboard, any saved jobs will be under job search activity, which we did mention earlier. Yep, right there. Perfect. One other thing I should note, we do have skills tests available to our members. You can get to them from the top navigation bar right there. So you can just select Take a Skills Test. We have over 170 tests that you can take. You can take as many tests as you want. You can retake them every 24 hours. And then something to note, Jess, would you mind going to the skills test results page? Again, that can be reached from the top navigation bar. So if you score 70% or above, those scores are going to be viewable to employers. If you don't score 70% or above, you'll still be able to see your test score here, but any employer will not be able to see that test. So if you're not happy with a score, you can always click the X to delete it, and then again, you can retake it every 24 hours. And then there are tips right there just to give you some information about how the score works and how percentile works. Jess or Nick, do either of you have anything else to add?
No, that was great. Thank you so much, Natasha. There's just a few things that I'd like to cover real quickly here. So we'll go on to that information. We've got some additional membership features that we do like to point out to our users. We do have referrals available, so you can earn a free month of subscription by sharing your unique link with your friends and family. And you can find that right here on your dashboard. Refer a friend today and get a free month. So you would just follow the information provided that pops up right there. So definitely something to note, especially if you're finding things or if you hear people who are looking for these types of positions. We also have special partner offers, which offer discounts and savings on services and products that support a flexible job search, better work-life balance, and other related lifestyle benefits. So there's health, co-working spaces, retail, business resources, travel, and more categories that offer assistance and reduction in cost on different featured items. So you can find that on the dashboard as well under the special partner offers. and you can go through and look at, different companies that if you need someone, for example, to help with a resume review or things like that, there's those offers, and they do give discounts to our users. So definitely like to let people know to check that out, and there's a lot of vendors on there that you may have considered using anyways and can benefit from that discount. So that's available as well. So we are going to get into the questions area of the webinar. So if there are questions that you have and you have not posted them to the questions area, please feel free to do so right now. Additionally, if we are unable to get to your question, or if it's something very specific to you as a job seeker that may not be beneficial for the entire webinar population, but you would still like to see if you could get some assistance with that, please feel free to give us a call. We also have virtual chat available from the contact page, and we have email as well. And so you can actually reach that Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And it is located at the bottom of every page of FlexJobs to get to this area. So we also have some helpful articles as far as the blogs go, or frequently asked questions. And feel free to always, take a look here at the job search tips and help area for lots of great information on, success stories, what we're hearing, tips on how to find a job. This webinar will be recorded, and it'll be located on the FlexJobs resources, and so you can look here for future webinars or past webinars that have been recorded if there are things that would be of interest to you that we have done with external partners as well as in-house help there as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start getting some questions here. So let's look at what we've got here. Can employers see all of your FlexJob resume profiles? That's a question that we've received. And the answer to that is they actually, the employers search by the job category. So if you don't have overlapping job categories in more than one profile, they would not see that you have more than one resume profile. They would only be viewing the one that specifically has the job category they're interested in hiring for. So another question, I'll pass this over to Nick. For work schedule, if you select part-time and flexible, will you only see jobs that meet both criteria, or will the results be both the flexible jobs and part-time jobs?
That's a great question. So if you do select more than one option on there, then you will see jobs that include both of those options. So it won't necessarily be specific to one or the other, but you can narrow it down more on the next page.
Okay, perfect. Absolutely. We have a question, Natasha. I'm going to pass this one to you. Is it necessary to do both upload and build a resume?
No, it is not as necessary to do both. You would only build a resume if you don't already have an existing resume. If you have an existing resume, you can just use the Upload Resume tab and upload your existing one, and then you can skip the Build Resume tab entirely.
Perfect. And we have a question, how do you create multiple resume profiles?
I can answer that. So if you go to my dashboard and scroll down to the resume profiles section, you can see there are existing resume profiles right there. You can always create another one just with that create a new profile button right there.
Perfect. All right, Nick, I have another question for you. Generally, if an employer wants to get in touch with you, is it through the site's email or through your email directly?
So an employer will reach out to you based on whatever contact information you've provided. If it is a featured employer on our site, then they will probably reach out to you through your inbox on FlexJobs. So that's definitely one way that you can be contacted. And again, part of it depends on the privacy setting that you've selected for your profile and the information that you've put in there. So if you have your phone number or your email address and you have your account set to active in public, then they may contact you through other means. So it depends on the settings that you've selected.
Perfect. Okay, and we have a question of what is the difference between short and long term, specifically how short is short term? And because we do work with over 30,000 employers, there is a lot of variation as far as how short term would be. Generally speaking, we're looking at anything that would be 6 months or less or 3 months or less as a short-term freelancing opportunity. Long-term would be something that would be 6 months or over. But that, again, is general. That's not a hard and fast rule. So each of them, you know, each job will tell you a little bit more information specifically about the term that the employer is looking for and the specifics of the job itself. And we do have a question. If I find a job I want to apply to, do I just email them letting them know I'm interested in the job they have available, or how do I get a job through the site itself? So Nick, do you want to take that one? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So if we just go to any job listing, so if you want to go to featured jobs or all new jobs, perfect, yeah. So once you're in the results on any page, you can just click on the job title to see the full job description. And then at the bottom of every post, underneath the job details, you'll see a big blue button. And it'll either say to apply or learn more, go to the original job post. So this is the application process for these types of jobs, and it'll open a link to the application on the external site of the employer. And then you'll complete the application that way. And then others will say apply for this job. And if that's the case, as Natasha mentioned, then you'll apply with your resume profile. But regardless of the way that you apply, it'll always be on the big blue button at the bottom of the post.
Perfect. Thank you, Nick. So yeah, each of these titles is a link to the position itself. All right, and we have a question for external employers asking for a resume. Is it preferable to provide my own personal resume or use the resume PDF I created on FlexJobs? Does it matter? So I'll take that one. It's really up to your personal preference, what you're sending to employers, whatever you feel is the best representation for you. We really do specifically provide the resume profile building area and the PDF only for people who don't already have a resume in existence. It's really a courtesy from us to be able to make sure that anyone, if they need a resume, has one accessible. But again, if you already have something built that you've worked on previously and that's what you want to submit, you're more than welcome to do that. It's entirely up to you to make that decision of what's going to be best overall. So, and a follow-up question for are we emailing the resume or do we reach out to the employer first? You would follow whatever the link says. So you're going to follow whatever information the employer themselves asks for. So each employer will have a different process. So let's see here. Okay, and we have a question on search, so I'm going to pass this to Nick real quick. In selecting multiple choices, is it an and or an or? So does the search have to meet all of the choices or any of the choices?
I believe it is an and I just want to confirm that with Jess.
Yep, that's correct. Absolutely. So it'll pull anything with both of those criteria. And it doesn't have to be them together. It has to be either of them individually. So perfect, Nick. And let's see here. So we do have a question about an inbox message saying that an employer looked at a profile and resume. If I hear nothing more, is there a way to contact them? You can see who the employer was, and you're definitely welcome to take a look at what they have currently open. You can always follow up with them and see if they have positions that would be a good fit, or get an idea of the type of job that they were looking to see if you would be a good candidate for. So that's definitely an option as well. Okay, let's see here. Time for just a few more questions. I apologize, I'm trying to read and answer simultaneously here. We have a question if we offer classes for things like Microsoft Office. We do not within FlexJobs itself. However, we do have special partner offers with lots of great companies, and we do have offers through companies that have skills tests and skills building. So, for example, lynda.com is an online learning company where you can learn a lot of different courses and different areas of information. So that is that's definitely a place I would go if you're looking to increase education at all, is take a look at some partner offers, because we definitely do have companies that offer information and skill building availability as well. Another question that we have is, why am I only allowed to select 5 job types? This is just for simplicity on the resumes themselves. It's to keep people focused and to make sure that what you're putting as relevant experience and information is really going to be targeted to the types of employers that you're looking for. So if you have multiple backgrounds, so if, again, the example of having a sales background as well as, for example, a writing background, really to tailor your information and to make it most appealing to employers in the sales industry, you wouldn't necessarily want to include your writing information on that. And so it's really to keep, the focus into how you would be a good fit for that employer based on the skills that you already have. Again, another thing that we really look at and recommend for people with their resumes is not to have job history past 7 years. Generally, you're not going to be able to get a hold of employers, or employers may not even have employment records easily accessible past that time period. And so you can, have a skills area where you mention skills from employers that are past that 7 years, but it is really important to kind of keep, keep your resume relevant and keep it something that would be interesting to the employers so that they would want to follow up with you and move forward with an interview. So I have another question for you, Natasha. How often do we update the job list?
Our job listings are actually updated every single day. We have a team of researchers who's working on it basically all the time. So, when you're searching the site, it is definitely advisable to search as frequently as possible. Every day is ideal, just so that you see listings, as soon as possible, and you can apply, quickly so that you have better luck and better chances of success.
Perfect. That's correct. And we do clean the database all the time too. So if you ever are looking at a position and you go to the link and you find that it's not there anymore, I'm just going to show this real quick here. We do have the option, if you have questions about a link or questions about a job, anything concerning a position, we do have this Flag This Job feature where you can send us an email and let us know what your concerns are about the job posting. And we will do an editorial review on the listing as well. So that's definitely an option as well. We did have a question, and I do appreciate the question for clarification. The question is, they're asking, this job site is not for people who have been out of the workforce for a while. And I would say that's absolutely not true at all. You may just want to change how you set up your resume profile. So we have a lot of information about coming back into the workforce. We have a lot of information on resume tips, so how to make your resume the best resume for your career experience and for where you are. So definitely take time and take a look at this information. It's a really good way to make sure that you're able to represent yourself and sell yourself in a way that is going to work well for employers. So definitely do.
Can I add something there, Jess?
Go for it,
and
absolutely.
I just wanted to say too that there are some great posts about if your resume does have gaps in it, or if you've been out of the workforce for a long time. And you can actually search the entire blog community. If you type in resume gaps, then it'll bring up all the posts related to if you're someone that's been out of the workforce for a while. And that's really useful.
Absolutely. Perfect. Thank you for bringing that up, because we do definitely work with a lot of people who, for whatever reason, have been out of the workforce. And so we definitely have jobs, you know, again, anywhere from entry level to executive. And so it works well for people who are getting back into the workforce. Works great for people who are looking to switch career directions, things like that. So definitely don't let that be a way to be discouraged at all. So we do only have 1 minute left. So again, if we are unable, I know there are still some questions out there. If we did not get have a chance to get to your questions, please follow up with us through the contact page. So you can, again, send it through email here, and we'd be glad to answer it for you. Or you can also go on with our live chat support and ask it there as well. Thank you, Nick and Natasha, so much for helping us with some great tips on how to use FlexJobs in a great way and find positions that will be a great flexible fit for people. Definitely want to let people know that you can go to FlexJobs.com for more information about the site. Anything here, if you've got questions about our company, is available here as well. Or if you want to check out press or awards that we've won, anything like that, all of the information about our company as a whole is located there. So thank you, everyone, for attending. We really do wish you the best of luck in your job search and in your careers. And again, we will send out a follow-up link with a recording of this and more information about FlexJobs. Have a wonderful day, and thank you again, Nick and Natasha.